Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Minus the Rumors podcast for March 3rd, 2016. I'm one of your hosts, Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with Crimson Rose, Ziploc Bob,
Howdy.
and Angry Hippie Lady. Let's jump
Hello.
right into the news, shall we? So, Steam has announced earlier that the way their bundles are set up is going to be changed. Have you ever bought a game on Steam and then saw a bundle that you're like, oh, I'd like to have that, but you already own like 3/4 of it or something like that, or even one game? So when you do buy that bundle to get the other games, you end up with a gift pass that you had to pay for, or you end up with another copy of the game you already own that you paid for, and you have to give away. That's done with. That is done with now. So now when you see a bundle and you want it and you already own something in it, you just don't have to pay for it. Not the entire bundle, but the game that you already own. Perfect, right? Beautiful.
This is great. Mainly because I already own the first KOTOR, and that's actually part of a bundle that's $100, but can go on a Steam sale for as low as $10 if they drop it down to 90, which is not entirely unheard of. But it doesn't feel like as good of a deal if I buy it if I already own one of the games and have to go, hey, do you have this? Yeah. Oh, do you have this? Yeah. Do you have this? No. Would you like it? No. Crap.
Nothing makes me more butthurt than when somebody offers me a game that I already own.
Yeah, it's pretty nice being able to buy a bundle and not have to pay for the same game again. So if they give like the Portal series into a bundle and you already own one or two or whatnot, then you don't have to pay extra. Like there's certain bundles that have a ridiculous amount of games, and it's just nice not having to spend nearly as much money.
Right. Or like when they do, like for instance, I own quite a few of the Hitman games and the Mirror's Edge game and some of the Tomb Raider stuff. And Square Enix has a big sale. It's like, sweet, I can get all of, the Final Fantasy games. It's like, but I already own like the other half of the bundle. Dude.
Right.
Yeah, not cool.
I'm not even joking. Half of my catalog on Steam is through games people gave me because they're like, yeah, I bought this bundle, so here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then.
You can keep your pity gift games now.
Yeah.
Full snap.
Crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, in other news, we had count 'em, two Nintendo Directs this past week, one on Friday and one actually today. So, just going to give you the bare bones, most important stuff that had happened. So, what had happened was Pokemon Sun and Moon were confirmed. They will be coming out the holiday season of this year. They will be available worldwide in 9 languages for the 3DS, 2DS, new 3DS, the games in 2D with some segments in the 3D, English, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, German, French, as well as traditional and simplified Chinese. So this is really cool that they're doing these games in all these languages, really kind of pushing barriers, which is pretty cool, especially now that Nintendo, especially Pokemon, is really trying to push people to interact with other people with like Pokemon Go and whatnot. So hopefully that keeps pushing boundaries with all that. Red, Blue, Yellow will be available as a digital distributions on the 27th. Some of these distributions, you can bring Pokemon from the original games to the newest titles via the Pokemon Bank, which is $5 a year, which is not bad at all. Once the Pokemon Bank has been updated, you'll be able to transfer Pokemon you caught from the 3DS Virtual Console of Red, Blue, and Yellow into your copy of Sun and Moon, but not the Ruby, Sapphire, X, Y via the bank. So that's all really cool stuff that's going to be happening. Your guys' thoughts on any of that for Friday's Direct?
Yeah, red, blue, and yellow actually are already available. You misspoke there.
Well.
But as of the 27th of this past month in February, and honestly, it's kind of awesome that you're able to take the original Pokemon 151 Pokemon you could get them and bring them all the way up to current gen because they've transferred through how many systems now? The Game Boy.
Oh,
Oh,
a lot.
geez. The Game Boy Light, yeah, no.
I mean, like just
Color,
true
Advance,
all
SP.
systems is like you got the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. You can kind of count as one. Then you got Advance. Then the DS
SP,
lines.
yes.
That's a whole lot of Game Boys.
Like
Right.
that's three major systems that
And
you went through.
and then the GameCube will actually let you trade over as well because I can take XD Gala Darkness and trade it over to Emerald.
Oh dear God!
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to be able to trade through the console as well.
And
But
finding some of this equipment's almost impossible nowadays.
right.
Like the little Game Boy adapter for the N64. That thing
Right.
is very hard to find.
I have one that works for like 4 different systems all in one.
Yeah.
So, all right. So also there was a direct today. Star Fox will come with a side project called Star Fox Guard. This is something that Miyamoto or the last president worked on. Together they're $60, but you can get them separately for 50 and 15. Fox Guard or Star Fox Guard would be 15. This is again Star Fox Zero. Super Mario Maker will be getting a lot more items on March 9th. Keys and corresponding doors. Pink coins to make the key appear. You have to collect all the pink coins scattered throughout the level. A super expert mode, so super hardcore. That's pretty cool. I'm always excited to see more Super Mario Maker. I know Bob's a real fan of it.
Woohoo!
New Paper Mario for the 3DS, which I'm pretty excited for. This is Paper Mario Color Splash for the Wii U, set to release sometime in 2016. Hyrule Warriors gets a release date. Um,
Oh yes.
March 24th for the 3DS. The Wii U and the 3DS of the Hyrule Warriors get a new character, Medel from Wind Waker, available for free. There will be 4 DLCs this year. And then there's a new Kirby game. Kirby Planet Robobot, June 10th for the 3DS. There's 4 new amiibos, Kirby Meta Knight, Waddle Dee, and King DDD. They all do different things in the game, as well as there's a 4-player boss battle mode called Kirby Clash, where you and friends will be taking down the hardest bosses and earning trophies. So that's a recap of the 2 directs that happened this week.
Okay. First off, I just gotta say that I love amiibos. I really do. I just wish I could get my hands on them. Like, it's a novel concept. It's just the execution isn't where we would want it. And with the Kirby game, I love me some of that pink little wonder right there. But with the title Planet Robobot, I would kill if you could take your Mega Man amiibo just for a Mega Man cameo,
Right.
or something. But all this news to me is good news. I love amiibos. I want more of them. I just wish they would actually make more of each one.
Right. And then, yeah, that would be very nice. And then
The
there's
super
actually,
expert mode though is going to make me scream.
right. And then for the chat, there's actually a lot more stuff that was announced. It's just I'm giving you like the most popular stuff, like
Like
Hunter
Kirby.
Chronicles, or yeah. So, anyways,
All right. Well, as we all know, Minecraft 1.9 has finally been released. A lot of these things, we've experienced in the snapshots, if you guys have been playing in the snapshots. If not, well, there's shields, of course. There's hang gliders or some way to fly. Igloos have been added, beetroots. There's a dragon head block, which is amazing. And there's so many things. The skeletal horse has finally been implemented in the game so that you can get those. You can't breed them, but hey, it's nice to have. I mean, cool little Halloween piece. So yeah.
I am so new to Minecraft, and to me, it's just hard to keep up with a lot of this because there's so much of a learning curve because this game was released back in
Oh,
2009. And
there's
they're
no learning
still
curve
at it.
anymore, Bob. We're all brand new when 1.9 drops. I played
Yeah.
Minecraft the day 1.9 came out. I had played in the snapshot just a little bit on stream and stuff like that, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Trying
Oh
out.
yeah, guys, I forgot the most important thing. Herobrine's been removed,
Oh
as
yes,
per
Of
usual.
course.
but
Oh yeah.
the skeletons.
I love how wishy-washy one of them is. We believe we fixed MC10 and a whole bunch of other issues. It won't be any more specific than that because
We don't expect anything else from Mojang at this point. We all expect the game to be broken.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, they
at least it's
typically
not as bad as Blaze Blue.
right.
Here's looking forward to Minecraft 1.9.1 in 19 or 20 months.
So yeah,
See, there used to be.
it's-
I don't know if Minecraft has done this, but when it comes to numbering systems, like there's usually like if you pay attention, like your Android OS and stuff, like it'd be 1.9.1, and then there's actually a 1.9.2. The end user can only get the 1.9.2. The 1.9.1 would be for devs.
No,
And-
Minecraft allows you to revert back to old snapshots, old betas, old alphas, and previous versions.
Oh yeah, I've been like catching up on how much it's changed and the game's changed. I
yeah.
just wish I didn't have a relative that every time that I told them, "Hey, they're changing in Minecraft," it's like, "Oh, are you going to improve the graphics?"
no.
Really?
Yeah. Just show them a 512 texture pack in 3D.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So-
what I wound up doing.
I'm not exactly. I feel that Mojang being bought by Microsoft it's been underwhelming what they've produced. Like yeah, there's a lot. It's like on more platforms, and I'm excited about that. But for the PC though, it's like feels a little underwhelming.
It could have been worse.
It could have.
EA could have bought them.
This is true.
Right.
Yes, EA, one of the two companies ever to mess up Tetris. But speaking of EA, Activision is joining EA and abandoning E3 as far as its show floor. They have actually announced that they are going to have a new Call of Duty game as per the usual from developer Infinity Ward. And it will be at E3, but it's just going to show up in Sony's booth. They're not leaving the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, that organizes E3 like EA has. They plan on using the convention center to hold meetings with media clients and partners. They don't have enough to bring is what they're putting for. They're just focusing on Infinity Ward's game, getting that out there because that is their moneymaker. But as far as Activision as a whole having a booth, they're not going to have it this year. So, yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not particularly surprised. I mean, they just don't have much to just really show off, in my opinion.
Yeah, they haven't had much since, in my personal opinion, the mid 2000s. Now they've kind of become a one trick pony to where they do one thing, but they do it really good.
They do Call of Duty.
Very good, and that's about it.
Well, when you just retexture things. Sorry, Activision. I'm not meaning to, low blow you, get you all butt hurt.
Can
By
you
the-
quit saying that?
By the way, guys, I have a broken tailbone.
Like every time he brings this up, I'm trying not to laugh.
I'm trying to
mute
crack him
myself
up.
twice.
I'm trying to crack him up. I broke my tailbone yesterday, and I'm in a lot of pain. But I was
He broke his
purposely
tailbone
saying,
and he fractured the bone connected to his tailbone. He basically broke every bone in his hind end that he could without breaking his pelvis.
Yes.
This is why we've already
And
said
then he
3
eats
times.
Taco Bell.
This is why we've already said 3 times something about being butthurt.
Yes.
I'm just like, so yeah, I've been razzing him a lot just because I'm trying to make him laugh to make him feel better because that's all I know how to do.
Bob's
And
been
now
picking
he's
on
trying
me.
to get me back by getting me to crack up on stream, and if I didn't have a mute button, it would work.
Would that make you butt hurt, Bob?
Not nearly as much as you.
Literally.
Activision.
But anyways, Activision.
So yeah, they haven't really had much, just besides the Call of Duty stuff, and I don't know. They've got some other things they have their name on, but just for this year particularly, they're not that relevant.
Right.
I mean, they've partnered with Blizzard, which was a great move on their
Yes,
part.
absolutely.
But beyond that, that and they bought out King,
well, Blizzard didn't do
which makes
E3.
Candy Crush.
Blizzard didn't do E3 either. And they're not doing E3 because they've got their own con now. They've got BlizzCon.
Yeah, they're that big.
They're
Right,
that big,
but-
exactly.
And in a lot of ways, E3 has become the three big companies: Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and then you got Square Enix that comes around and just slaps everyone in the face every now and then. But it's really that's what people pay attention to is those three companies and what they're bringing to the table.
Oh yeah.
And this
But-
year in particular, it's going to be very to the throat.
Yes.
Here's a quick non-comprehensive list of some of the titles that they've dropped in this past year. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Skylanders.
Skylanders is awesome.
Guitar Hero Live. Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark for the
They-
Wii U.
They made a game for Transformers?
For the Wii U, yeah.
Oh.
This is in 2014, so I'd have to go back more than 1 year. But yeah, I think they also have like the licensing rights for Spider-Man games. I don't believe that's current, but they've had it. They also made published Destiny.
Oh, yeah, the
Keyword
big Destiny
published.
update. Skylanders is dead. What about Trap Team, Scion?
Yeah, Trap Team was in 2014.
Yeah, well, it's still relevant, I think.
It's fun.
I think.
It's fun-ish.
Yeah, Bob's got a daughter. He can tell you all about Skylanders.
Actually, no, I keep her away from Skylanders.
My niece and nephew play Skylanders.
Okay, there's enough crap that she acquires already. We don't need to get her a toy to where if she loses part of the toy, the whole toy don't work.
Okay, fine.
Because that'll happen.
I'm
But yeah, they're the people behind the Guitar Hero games and stuff. Like way back in 2008,
Right.
they made the Star Wars Force Unleashed games.
So it's been a little while since they've been, and they only usually put out like one thing a year, if any.
Yeah. But they're a publisher. They're not a big distributor.
Right.
Like one of my favorite games of theirs, they haven't made a good one in a while, and that's the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series.
True.
But that's just because I was a 90s kid.
right.
Right. On to other stuff. So this is something that MTR has predicted. We predicted this pretty early on with Rocket League. Rocket League has now entered. It now has its pro league, and it's now basically an official esport. Offers $75,000 in prizes. So something we saw coming. I mean, it is the perfect game for esports for a Rocket League championship series. This is something that the Rocket League team, I can't really developer, they knew going right off the bat this would end up being an esports. So I'm pretty excited about this. $75,000. It's a good starting prize pool, and I'm sure it'll grow. It'll have standard 3 versus 3. Will last for about 3 months. So So yeah, that's all pretty. It's pretty exciting. And if you want to sign up, you could probably do so if you think you have what it takes.
If you have what it takes to be the very best that ever was, go for it. I just I just look at the name of it. I'm like, man, they wasted a golden opportunity for so many puns. For example, Rocket League Pro League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Whoa.
Rocket League Pro League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
What, you've never watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Rocket League 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yes.
Oh my god. Anyways, but
Ro-
yeah,
Rocket
what do
League
you-
Pro League of Legion of League. The legal. The sequel legal. The legal sequel.
Oh God.
I want to put away my punctuary.
what do you guys think about Rocket League becoming its official esport?
It was just a
It was
matter of
bound to
time.
happen.
It was bound to happen. I think we're going to see a lot of 3v3 teams or three-person teams up to grab 75 grand. And then I don't know. That's the thing. It's Rocket League. It's a good game. It's a fun game. It's not a difficult game.
No,
It does require skill, but it's not hard.
Yeah.
I'll admit of games that are esports, this is something I'd actually watch because it's more for someone like me. It's more sporty because
Yeah.
like MOBAs, I'm like I don't really know what's going on. And Halo, yeah, they're doing the pew pews, but it's like so fast paced. But Rocket League, it's more sporty. I understand it because it's sports with cars, and it's more interesting to someone like me. And I'm excited actually. I'd actually follow this, and so I'm pretty excited about
Why
it.
don't
Yeah,
they
and
have
this
like
has
a
very
Forza
low barrier of
League?
entry.
Why don't they have like a racing esport? That would be amazing.
I think Forza would be a great contender on that one.
I really,
Probably.
I think so
But-
too.
When it comes to Rocket League, it has everything you need from a technical standpoint to make an esport. It's completely non it's completely non-isometric gameplay. Both sides um, both sides are playing the same sport under the same rules. You don't have like another person that has to play from different rules. It's based off of a sport that has a massive following, soccer or football if you're from outside the U.S. And it's just one of those things to where not a, like it's soccer. I get it. I don't have to research what soccer is. However, I might have to research what most MOBAs and how their terminology works. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know what a jungler is. I don't know what it means if someone's going to take top, mid, or bottom, or if someone's going to run support.
Right. And I do want to say because no longer is Twitch the only person that does streaming now. Rocket League plans to stay with Twitch and just Twitch. They say what brought the success of Rocket League was Twitch and its streamers, and that they plan to keep it on Twitch.
That's good that they're actually paying attention to what made them big and honoring it.
Right.
Because a lot of companies, once they get so big, we're like, oh, we're better than that. We can do more. And they forgot what guided them in the first way.
Right. Speaking of games speaking of games that are going to go pro esport and could possibly go esport in the future, Street Fighter V. Woo! Because, the single player on that doesn't really exist right now. Street Fighter V. Don't rage quit. If you play it, do not rage quit. It's a huge problem with Street Fighter V. Yeah, I'm going to say it annoying like that. No, I'm not.
Please don't.
So there's a huge problem with people quitting in SF5, SFV, whatever you want to call it, before matches end. Powering down their system, or just ripping their RJ45 cable out of the back of their console, or just simply logging out before the match ends, and that player does not rank down in the points on the leaderboard. And Capcom is aware that it's been an issue for a while, and has said on their blog, we are definitely aware of players disconnecting before the match ends to retain league points and their win streaks. Thanks to all the players who have brought this to our attention. Apparently, it is the number one thing right now being complained about. They're working on a permanent fix. And they're saying that direct action will be taken against these players. Please get video of them and send it to them. That's another thing they're requesting. They want to see physical proof that people are combat logging in their game. But they're going to take serious action, and they have not said what it is. And yes, Asterius, I am super serial right now and super in pain. But yeah, we don't know what the severe action is going to be. They'll tell us next week. And they did say, once again, definitely record every time someone rage quits when you encounter it. Basically, record all your gameplay. Who knows? You might end up with your own highlight reel, and you might not even be into the whole making videos scene.
You just might, but this is something they should have. They should just fix. It's not. They should just patch it. Why do we have to do all this work to just? We gotta film all of it and get us definitive proof. Like, why can't they just?
Yeah, why is it even a thing? If you leave a match, you should lose points. Rockstar did that with Grand Theft Auto Online when it came out. Before it came out, I've been bad sport lobbied because I needed a new modem, and I was dropping packets and thus lagging out of games because my technical things here. My internet was upgraded from DOCSIS 1 to DOCSIS 3, and I still had a DOCSIS 1 modem, so I wasn't running full capacity in my house, and my Xbox was dropping packets and lagging me out to death
Right.
in matches, and they saw that loss of connection, log out, log back in, log out, log back in, as, combat logging. I spent 16 days meeting some of the best cheaters and hackers on the planet. It sucked. But, it's something that should have been implemented in this game from the get-go.
Right.
There's a couple of ways you can look at it. One, for the people who are doing this, you are cheating. You dirty, dirty cheaters. Quit it. Two, it's not entirely their fault for doing this because it's the I can't remember the exact name of the principle, but basically what it is if you give somebody all the tools in the world, they're going to use the easiest way possible. They're going to take the path of least resistance 9 times out of 10. That 10th person is just looking for a legitimate challenge. If all you have to do is constantly rapidly tap the A button to win, guess what most people are going to do?
Rapidly tap the A button?
Bingo. But since you can combat log out and it not hurt you, honestly, they just need to make it towards like, okay, you get your points taken away, sorry. Because this is the equivalent of me and my cousin when we were little, like them pressing start when I was winning, or me pressing start when I was reading, then reaching over and resetting the game real quick. It's like, well, we'll never know who was going to lose that one when me or them was obviously losing.
Right. I remember my first encounter with a cheater in Street Fighter. Once again, I was over at my friend Jocko's house, because he's the one that always had all the consoles before I started, mowing lawns and stuff to buy my own consoles. And we were playing Street Fighter, and I was decimating him. And he reached over and unplugged my controller. What a jerk.
Right. It's just how people are, and they're just going to do so. But thank you, Mysterious, for joining the stream. You're always VIP here. But a little tidbit on what you've missed is Steam changed their bundles to Pokemon Direct, and Minecraft Activision not being at EA, and Rocket League gets its own Pro League. But on to more news.
News.
Because your news matters. Rock Band is going to be crowdfunding to get on the PC. So
Why?
basically why. So they're looking for what was it? One point
One
five
point.
million dollars to make the project a reality. Rock Band is already on the PlayStation and the Xbox One, but they want to bring it to Rock Band 4 to the PC. And you would think they would be able to do this, but no, they need us to give them 1.5 million, and they say they want to do it because other people have done it and it worked, and it feels so unsincere. It feels ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But things you'll be getting, uh, and a lot of these are already on the console. But the World Tour campaign, the freestyle guitar solo, 65 songs included out of the box, 1,700 uh, songs plus songs. That's DLC stuff. I guess it's easier to do that with the PC. Supporting for wireless guitar, all the instruments. In addition, you'll get tools to author your own songs and submit them. Mouse and computer support, and a bunch of other PC features. And then there's all kinds of prizes you can get with donating with the crowdfunding. But it all comes down to, why is this necessary?
And on top of it, the most insulting part is how much money they are themselves putting. They're only putting forth 1/3 of the money that they're asking for. It's not like, well, if you give us $1.5 million, we'll put in just as much money, if not more, on top of the man hours. Nope, we're just like, they're like, this to me just tells me, hey, we don't think this is going to sell, so we're going to see if we can get you to pay for it. And if there's enough money behind it, we're going to use your money to give you the product you want and charge you for it after the fact if you didn't kickstart this.
Now, it says why they're crowdfunding right here on their fig. It says that basically fans enabled the creation of other games such as Psychonauts 2 and Broken Age, as well as technology, Oculus. So basically, they're crowdfunding because other people do it.
Okay, first off, Psychonauts 2 is a completely different
Now,
case.
their second paragraph of why they're crowdfunding says, as an indie studio, this is a direct quote, by the way, as an indie studio, we at Harmonix must seek funding for projects. Typically, this involves traditional publishers and all of the positives and negatives that entails. Now, you can go ahead and call yourself an indie studio, but when you have already made and released 4 top selling games, you're no longer an indie anything. You're no longer the little guy. I'm sorry to say.
Them calling themselves indie studios, like those 80s movies where you have that well established team that's the bad guy. Then you have like the up and comers, that's the little guy that you're supposed to root for in the movie. Guess which one they are? These guys are the bad guys. They are in that hypothetical movie. Like, that's who they play. And I'm not saying these are bad people. They're what they're trying to do is completely explicitly wrong. They're asking for money. If they get it, cool. If they don't, cool. If people want to pay for it, they're asking people basically to vote with their wallets. I get that. I personally just don't agree with it because you guys have made how much money? Because I'll admit, I've played myself a lot of Rock Band. I think I've bought at least every game and bought a lot of the stuff. But at least some of the stuff they give out is cool.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I've played a lot of Rock Band. I played a lot of Guitar Hero. I played a lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't see why it's going to cost, let alone $2 million, the $1.5 million to move Rock Band to PC. Seeing as how consoles, the current gen consoles, run the same architecture as your PC. It shouldn't be that hard. And I mean,
it's mainly transferring programming languages as well as what's the word I'm looking for? Avoiding emulation. Like, the architecture is one thing, but programming languages are a whole another ball of wax.
right. But other than that, seriously though, you're telling me it's going to take $2 million for somebody to recode?
Like
To
that,
transfer a language. To
I could see them spending $250,000 on marketing, and that's about it.
right.
So what's with the other 1 3/4 of a million? Can you give us a breakdown so I can understand why you're really asking for this money? And um, I understand Harmonix is not as big as say EA, Activision, and or whoever they may have published under. I get that, understand that, but Harmonix, um, give me a detailed explanation, like full transparency here, and they're just not giving me that to where I would personally not put my money towards it. But then again, it's Rock Band, and it's kind of been a joke for the past few years.
Right. And I feel like the new Rock Band 4, it's a good game, it's got good sales, but I feel like there's no reason to do this. And even I don't mind the crowdfunding. It's when they're putting in such a small amount compared to what they want from us. It's like we're already going to buy the game.
Right.
I
Right.
just feel like it's just overdone a bit, and it's a bit it just rubs me the wrong way. So
It feels like that they should be able to pay for their own game
Right. It's like giving
to
money.
switch it over at this point.
It's like
Now,
giving money to a panhandler and then them immediately throwing down their cardboard sign, jumping into their Benz, and driving away.
well, maybe not that bad, but to be fair, at $49 on their um, Kickstarter page, or no, it's a Fig, is the name of the Kickstarter like page. $49, you do get the game. A City Sleeps, the full game and soundtrack, Best of Indies playable tracks, access to comments and counted out, or to comments and discounted add-ons. At 20, you just get A City Sleeps, the full game and soundtrack, which is, I believe, yeah, it's a completely different game. And at $10, you just get a heartfelt thank you and access to comments and discounted add-ons. And from after that $49, it goes up and up and up, and you get all sorts of crazy stuff like everything, including a swag pack of that includes like the guitar pick, drumsticks, blah blah blah, just random stuff, kind of like a Loot Cratian pack, all the way up to where if you really have the money, because the 1,000's already done, the 500's already done, the next scale up is 6,000 as a quote unquote tour manager. You get an all expenses paid trip to Boston, exclusive original concept art, and just so many other things. Or you can pay 15 or my bad, 25 grand and get one of your songs in the game.
Right.
And there's multiple tiers in between those. It's just they are offering a lot of stuff if you're really willing to shell out the money, but and this is me nitpicking. If I'm paying $6,000, can I get first class instead of economy tickets? I'm just saying. I gave you 6G. Can I get better tickets than economy? Because between the TSA and someone bringing their kid and the air pressure messing with their ears and making their infant scream, economy's never good to begin with. But come on, man.
Right. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I'm from Georgia. See the chat.
Yeah.
Georgia.
That twang just came out hard.
Your Boston just came out, Bob. You ever done a stretch in Boston?
No, I've never been to Boston. The farthest north I ever been was in D.C.
Oh.
I've just dealt with people all across the country, and you run into some really crazy accents out there. But then again, I'm Southern, and I know I have an accent myself, so I can't say much.
Anywho's it. So Fallout 4, the patch has finally come to PC. and it'll be coming to PS4 and Xbox One eventually. Lots of fixes. They have support for add-ons, so maybe we'll be seeing some DLC relatively soon, maybe. And so many fixes. At at least 15 on this list. And yeah.
Yeah. They've got an expansion coming out this month, right? Auto something or other.
Yeah.
Automacars? No, that's not right.
I have yet to play Fallout 4.
Automatron
Automatron, that's it.
arrives in March, so yes.
Yes.
Is this
Unless
going
they
to be
push it
like a
back.
serious version of the Claptrap's Revolution DLC all over again?
I hope not. It's Fallout though, so I mean it's probably going to be pretty good.
No, like you have all those automatons and stuff in the game to where they actually rise up and have a revolution for equal rights and stuff, because that would be cool.
Where's the part of
And
the stream where we
topical.
can suggest topics? You can suggest a topic right now. We'll try to talk about it.
Yeah, we try to listen to the chat when we can throw it in between.
Like,
I'm just, was it astronously? Like, I'm surprised they guessed that, yes, I am from Tennessee correctly.
I feel insulted about being told that I have a 1 out of 10 Southern accent. I'm sorry that I hide. Okay, I'm not gonna get into this.
if you
No,
make her
see,
if you make her angry,
her
it comes
accent
out.
doesn't come out unless you piss her off
When I get angry, though,
Or hungry.
especially hangry,
or hungry.
She becomes a hangry hippie.
Yes.
It changed to a 4 out of 10.
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
here's the thing, Astros Lee. Like, sometimes there's people who... Do they have democracy south of the Mason-Dixon line? Well, yes, we do. We vote for idiots like you not to come here. No, I'm just joking. But,
Southern
Jeez.
humor.
yo, Yankees don't need to come here. You're already ruined Florida.
No, Florida.
Yeah, it's not
we don't
Florida.
accept Florida.
It's Florida.
Or Florida is also acceptable in certain areas.
Yeah,
Florida?
yeah, if you're from, like, mid to South Alabama.
Right.
And yes, I have family from there, too, so it happens.
I have not personally played the Minecraft mod where Adele is the final boss.
That it sounds interesting for sure. But yeah. If you just recommend things, we'll try to catch it every now and then. We try to pay attention to chat, and also you're welcome to email us during the week, and we'll look at topics as well and try to bring them into the show on our Thursdays. But
We'll do what
on
we
to more
can.
news.
Mm-hmm.
Are you good, Hippie?
I'm good.
All right.
Great.
So
Yeah,
on to more
she's
news.
about out of a 3 out of 10 on the PO scale.
3 out of 10.
On the PO scale, not the Southern scale.
Oh,
You're
no,
defi-
no.
You're definitely not
above
10
that.
out of 10 on a Southern scale, because you don't sound like Colonel Sanders and Foghorn Leghorn had a kid.
It depends on how much I've been around Crimson that day.
Yeah, that does
Southern I
add
am.
to it. Like, if you're around... I had a friend who was from Australia, and if he would sound like a normal American with a very non-accent accent, like a Midwestern accent, unless you got him around somebody from the motherland. Then him and whoever would just wind up sounding like a didgeridoo to me. Just oing 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 oing.
Am I just like that Southern sounding? Like,
Yes.
You've
you
got
are.
that
I don't
laid
think
back
so. I think you
Southern
just sound like
gentleman sort of
home.
thing going, man.
You
Me, I've got that high pitched annoying Southern idiot thing going, and I just work it. Because I can sound
you
very
do.
intelligent and it shocks people, but if I say something stupid, nobody notices, and it's great.
I think you just sound typical Southern.
Crimson, you sound
I used to
very
sound
southern.
like I was from, like, the Catskills. I've actually had to tone down my southernosity in my voice.
See, I pick up the Midwestern accents pretty well. Like, when I lived in Chicago, I came back and everybody's like, you don't sound the same. And when I just moved back from Detroit, like, I say, Detroit doesn't have an accent, but we've got, like, sayings. And
Right.
You have
I-
colloquialisms, not accents
yeah,
there.
localisms. That's it. And I say things when I'm in class or at work, and people just kind of, get that dog listening to the record, the RCA dog. You know what I mean?
They're like, ooh?
Yeah. And they're like, "What'd you just say?" And I repeat it, and I'm like, "What? You guys never heard that before?" Okay.
Yeah, there's a certain dish that apparently this is a military version of the dish, and it is the S version
Yes,
of the
yes, just chipped beef
fecal
on
matter
toast. Yes.
on a shingle.
Yes.
And all it is it's beef gravy on toast. I said that one day. They was like, because somebody's like, so what'd you have? Because we're all like, what'd you have for breakfast? That sort of thing. Because we're talking about food. Because if you're around me, you're going to talk about some food. Because I'm a tubby little guy. And I said I had that, and they just looked at me like, what in the world? You nasty. I'm like, no, it's just like beef gravy on toast. It's oh dear God. I just fell in one of those traps, to where as soon as you say something stupid, then there's no coming back from it.
Like, they may think you're stupid, but don't open your mouth and prove it.
Are you kidding me? At this point, that's what I do for a living.
Basically.
Technically, I'm retired.
Basically. So, yeah, I'll take Sirius. I'll take all those as compliments. Also, Sirius, actually, I've heard him speak. He has the voice of God himself. Like, Morgan Freeman would... Like, it's on par with Morgan Freeman.
Asterius is God himself.
We got a votable.
What was it? There's a Morgan Freeman thing where it's like, when you wake up in the morning and enjoy a sunrise, it's because Morgan Freeman has previously dubbed over it to make it happen. What?
Ignore that. So, Pokemon Go. So, as we have reported in the past,
I won!
oh.
I'm muting my mic. I'm sorry.
The Pokemon Go, as we have previously reported, they were going to be at Niantic was going to be at the GDC conference to talk about Pokemon Go and some other things. However, they ended up canceling the event. So this is really sad because this was going to be the first time we were actually going to see a little bit about Pokemon Go and what was it about, what it looked like, and we were all excited about this for the what is it, the Game Developers Conference?
Yes.
And a little bit of an update. So they say John Hank explained why they canceled it. They said they canceled it so they could get Pokemon Go ready for launch. And in a quote, "We have decided to forego our GDC talk on Pokemon Go in order to focus on getting the product ready for beta test and launch. As much as we hate to disappoint those in the industry attending GDC, we feel our time and energy right now is best spent on making sure every aspect of the product is where we need it to be." So it's good to know that they didn't just not go because, oh, we don't feel like it, that they're actually putting time into Pokemon Go and making it the best it can be. But it worries me that they're so worried about working on it that they didn't show us anything about it, what it actually looks like. So I'm a bit worried, but at the same time, I'm not, because there's a lot of good and just a little bit of bad to this. It keeps the speculation high on, okay, what is Pokemon Go? I mean, it's going to take up my life for the next 5 years, but...
I see it as I would have liked to have seen something. Like, we've heard about it, and we've seen the trailers for it. Well, we don't know anything.
Right.
All right.
I mean, I know what I've been told, but I haven't seen like actual footage of what it actually looks like with your own eyes. So it's
Exactly. I want to see the actual gameplay. I don't want to see altered, video or some images simulated style video in a trailer. I want to see the game. I want to see the game now.
right.
I see it as a little bit of a backpedal. Maybe something's just not ready yet, and it's been we know that they're not going to release until it is ready.
Yeah.
So,
Here's the thing. I've experienced something similar with a game that's been out. And this is an unfortunate case, and where this is the case where the game wasn't that great, to be honest, and that's DCU Online. It's good. It's just not great. It has its
Right.
problems and its ups and downs. Um,
And
to where they were going to have a big showing at Dragon Con in 2010, 2011, one of the two. This was months before it was going to come out, and they just Sony Online Entertainment. It's like, nope, sorry, it's not ready. We're currently having problems. Blah 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 blah. We'd rather show you a product the way we intend for it, or nothing at all. So since we can't have the first one, we're not going to show you anything because blah blah blah. But they were at least kind enough to answer questions and yada yada to like local fans because the DC universe is huge as far as the fan base is concerned. And Pokemon, it's much the same way. Like, you will find fans that are just as fervent as any DC fanboy will ever be, and in some cases even more so. And the fan base is huge, and it encompasses all ages. I get that the Pokemon Company and Nintendo will both want to protect this because this is their baby.
Right.
This is a multi-million-dollar cash cow. They know that even if the final product is going to be excellent, if they show something that is poor or lacking in quality, nobody will buy it.
Right. And, Nintendo has a long record of if they don't think a game's going to be ready, they'll push it back. They're like, we won't put out a game that's broken. We just won't do it. They usually put a lot of care into their games. And I know that Niantic is a great company. They spun off of Google last year. They've really good company. So I know when this comes out, it'll be amazing. I'm so eager to actually see something. But yeah, we just want to let you guys know that they're not going to be at the GDC because we've talked about it before. So there you go.
Yeah, this
Right.
this is the update we had to do.
Yeah.
But anybody got anything else on this one?
No, that's
No.
about it.
So onward to tech. There are these things called 5D discs that are the size of a quarter and hold 360 terabytes worth of information. They're the diameter of a quarter, and honestly, from the pictures, because they haven't give the all three dimensions of how big they are, it looks to be about as thick as your average cell phone. Not a flip phone, but like, a Samsung Galaxy or something of that nature. If you want to put it in like a perspective that you can understand, like, oh, okay, I know how big that is. Put this in perspectives. 1 gigabyte is 1,024 megabytes, and 1 gigabyte you can hold 7 minutes of HD TV video. That would be at 7 minutes of 720p. 2 gigabytes is 20 yards of books on a shelf, and 4.7 gigabytes is the size of a standard DVD-R. A terabyte, just one of these, is 1,024 times bigger. Long story short is the reason why they're called 5D is because you have the three dimensions, an x-axis, a y-axis, a z-axis. That's 3D. The other 2D is based on these embedments caused by a laser, how big they are. So there's 4D, and 5D comes from their orientation to the rest of the disc. So they've currently may put certain things on there as a way to preserve them for billions of years, because these can survive up to 14 billion years in a room temperature environment and survive up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. And they've already preserved the Magna Carta, which is one of the first stepping stones democracy, the King James Bible, and the Human Rights Acts, various Human Rights Acts, and other things across the globe. These are not commercially available yet, but they were able to get these from kilobytes to terabytes in 3 years. Whether they can get them to being commercially viable in, like say, a decade from now, we don't know. Because you have to remember, CDs were actually made in the 80s and didn't become commercially viable until the 90s. So this could be something very, very similar. That the only thing is it's so small, you could lose one of these very easily.
Right. Here's like valuable data. Where'd I put it?
Don't put it in your back pocket and then break your tailbone.
Right.
And these are not rewritable, so this isn't like a hard drive replacement.
No,
This is something that
5D discs are written in glass, correct? Memory glass. Like, how soon before
it's
you
more
think?
of a polymer, really.
How soon do you think before we have petabyte storage?
Honestly, a petabyte. I'm trying to remember.
Petabyte is 1,024 gigabytes. Or terabytes, I'm sorry.
Terabytes. Yeah, a terabyte. Honestly, 3 of these would be a petabyte.
Exactly.
And honestly, within 2 to 3 years speculation, this isn't on the record, if they follow their current trends in 3 years, they could do a petabyte. And 1 petabyte is 20 million four-drawer filing cabinets filled with text. 15 petabytes is the internet user's data backed up on Mosey.com. And 20 petabytes is the amount of data processed by Google per day. So they're not that far off.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, we've got biggest SSDs right now are like what, 20 terabyte, and they're not they're commercial use only, and they're extremely expensive, but it won't be long before we're hitting the hundreds of terabytes and then the petabyte storage.
Well, back in the 1980s, 1 gigabyte would cost you about $3,000.
Right.
Or no, my bad, 30 grand. Now you can buy that for a penny if you buy big enough storage.
Right.
Not even a penny sometimes.
Uh
And that's in a flash disk.
Right.
But yeah, that's the highs and lows on that one.
So our next piece is a government agency called the Advanced Research Projects Agency Energy, also known as ARPA-E. It's one of the U.S. government's moonshot organizations. Moonshots are extremely risky. Therefore, they don't get like actual federal funding. It's just kind of like whatever they can source up through grants and things like that. Krim, you offhand got any ideas of some of Google's moonshots right now?
Not offhand.
Oh, crap. I remember we covered them. I can't remember any of them right now. But anyway, ARPA-E was founded in 2009 under the Obama administration's economic recovery plan to try to find a way to assist with alternative energy. Hence the E in ARPA-E. Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, Asterius works for Google. I keep forgetting this. But anyway, ARPA-E has done something that Elon Musk couldn't do, or hasn't done yet, and some of his biggest brains haven't done yet, and that is make a huge breakthrough in battery storage, battery technology. ARPA has created a new commercially viable battery that can back up system grids, which is a huge breakthrough in Huge breakthrough in alternative energy, because that's the thing. Like, the wind always blows. Not, well, okay, the wind doesn't always blow, but the wind blows. And the problem is you have to store that energy created, that electricity created, in a battery bank to stabilize it so that it can taper off. And those batteries don't last very long. But the ARPA's new battery storage system should be completely finished within the next 5 years, but they've got it designed to bring down cost of energy storage, and they've got grid scale batteries in the works. It's beautiful. I completely just derailed here.
Yeah, you're starting to break up, Zero.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I sat wrong and just hurt myself. Hang on just a second here.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up some Google moonshots real quick.
Okay.
While you,
I just got to adjust.
Some of the Google moonshots are the Google driverless car, which we'll be covering something involving that. The Project Wing, which is basically a project that aims to rapidly deliver products across a city by using flying vehicles similar to the Amazon Prime Air concept. Project Glass, which is Google Glass. Project Loon, which is a project that aims to bring internet access to everyone by creating an internet network of balloons flying across the stratosphere. It uses wireless routers and balloons that are above weather and planes to give access to internet to those who can't reach it or in need of help. Other projects that are not named in the article I'm reading are an artificial neural network for speech recognition and computer vision, the Web of Things, a way of connecting real-world objects to the internet, and long-lasting smartphone batteries. Projects that Google's X projects have considered and rejected include a space elevator, which is deemed to be currently unfeasible, a hoverboard, which was deemed to be too costly relative to societal benefits, a user-safe jetpack, which has thought to be too loud and energy wasting, and teleportation, which was found to violate laws of physics.
I'm glad
Nice.
that Google's working on all these things.
I love
I was
it
like,
too.
okay,
But yeah,
is there a way we can get a teleporter? Physics says no.
the description
Let's
of them
go for
is
it anyways.
the description of them is exactly why they're moonshots. We need to make a user-friendly jetpack.
Right.
Kickstart. Try to kickstart that one. Go ahead and crowdfund your jetpack, and then when people want a refund, but
I mean, yeah, that's the point of a moonshot is they're risky things that you're not going to put money in. And you're going to try to get them to the project to raise money for itself, and a lot of times, what about wormholes? A lot of times they do take off, they do work. Sometimes they don't.
sometimes
but
they
that's why they're
fail
a moonshot.
miserably. Exactly.
But
For
when,
every Google Glass, there are 20 or 30 ideas that was like, well, the laws of physics say no.
But
Or, how do you get an elevator to space? Like, really?
right. But yeah, ARPA-E is developing some super efficient superconductors, and they're working with new materials to try to outpace the life and discharge of lithium-ion batteries, and they're working as well to expand like microgrid capacity. I'm personally hoping to see this. I'm a big fan of tidal wave generation, or that came out wrong. Tidal power generation, use of waves, the undertow.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint with that is, number one, the generators are ugly, and number two is you've got to have a substation extremely close to the beach. If you
Yep.
can bury these battery banks, you don't need to put your substation at the beach. It can be miles up the road.
Yeah. What I love about this is like the government uses like a less efficient method in comparison to this. right now when compared to, like, say, whenever Katrina happened and stuff like this, because this is very new technology, so of course everything else would be less efficient by comparison. But um, actually, in my hometown that I'm living in currently, the south side was completely decimated, as well as parts of a neighboring state, by tornadoes about 3, 4 years back. And I'm basing this off of memory, so it could be a little wrong here. There were neighborhoods that were no more because all the houses were, well, Wizard of Oz away. And not in a pretty way either, to where all, like, you, if you looked at certain angles, you couldn't see the base of the house because, yes, it was there, but you couldn't see it because of the hill. You wouldn't even be able to tell that a house was there unless you looked at it from another angle and you could see into what was left of the basement because that was all cinder block or whatever. And honestly, the neighborhood I grew up in doesn't exist anymore because of that. And there was like a lot of people without power that needed help, and that this would have definitely been wonderful.
Right. I
Of
mean,
course, a lot of the infrastructures tore up during those situations, so it doesn't entirely fix the problem. But having a
Right.
source of power does help for at least a temporary
right.
infrastructure.
You stack the grids onto like a flatbed trailer. You know, the grid backups onto a flatbed trailer. Make sure they're fully charged. Put some solar panels out because you can lay that on top of the destruction and things like that. You know, just got to aim them a little bit. Make sure there's nothing directly blocking them. And it's not. It's it's a backup grid. People have got power then. Charge cell phones, have light,
Clean water.
clean water. Exactly. Conveniences that make you not think so
I
much
actually
on the fact
kept one
that
of these.
that
Um, but ironically, Anheuser-Busch was giving out bottles of water, and it has like the Anheuser-Busch logo, and like you would not believe on how nice that was to have when it's like I'm trying to help these people, you know, search through what's left of their lives, and like they don't even have water, no less a car to move all what little stuff they have left because it got slung into the next county, and I'm not exaggerating on that part, and stuff like that. So these sort of things, these are the things that in a post Katrina world we need, and we need to fund because we do need a way to rebuild quickly and efficiently because the North America has the most tornadoes than when compared to any other continent in the world.
Right.
Asterius and I are going to have a rascal race, and Crimson and I are going to have an event too.
You talking about the Dragon Con thing?
Yes.
The joust.
Yes.
I will be there to officiate it.
Me and Zero are planning on at Dragon Con this year. He best go. We're planning on jousting on segways.
You heard it here. We don't talk about rumors on Minus the Rumors.
I'm currently trying to get it changed from segways to those hoverboard things, but due to recent events, I don't want another broken tailbone.
Yeah, somebody slip and fall and bust their butt
or noggin,
or noggin. Yeah.
which would be even worse.
I get to go pick a Walmart for Asterius. I'm gonna scout locations and I'll email you on it.
But speaking of moonshot projects like Google Glass, isn't there something else coming up?
Not that I know of.
So, Microsoft HoloLens.
Oh.
I was
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to segue there.
Oh yeah, that's right. The HoloLens.
So pro.
That's not a moonshot. That's
The Google Glass was the hint.
oh. That the Google Glass. Hey, that was a successful moonshot. We've got details on the HoloLens. I'm just gonna throw these out here. We're not even gonna really discuss too much about it. I don't think.
The caveat: this is a developer's kit.
This is the this is the release specs for the developer's kit, as well as the hardware. It's got a 32-bit Intel architecture. It's got a custom Minecraft holographic processing unit known as the HPU 1.0. Battery life of 2 to 3 hours of active use with up to 2 weeks of standby time. They do work when charging, but who's going to wear them while they're charging? And the device is passively cooled, much like your cell phone. So I'm going to imagine it is going to get hot in use. That's my personal speculation. It's got a 64 gig flash card in it. You know, micro SD. 2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs for the CPU and 1 gig for the HPU. So 3 total gigs of RAM, I guess. But the processor memory is 2 gigs. It's got Windows 10, the Windows Store, and it's got 2 16:9 HD light engines, a pupil response or pupil distance calibrator. It can tell whether or not your eye is open and how far to adjust its own brightness. 2.3 million total light points, and the density of the holograph is 2.5K radiance. It can understand spatial sound. It can track your gaze. It's got gesture input and voice support. And then the IOs, it's got built-in speakers, 3.5mm jack, volume up and down buttons, brightness buttons, power button, battery status LEDs, a Wi-Fi antenna and receiver or Wi-Fi antenna, and a micro USB 2.0. Clocking in at a lovely 579 grams. 1.12 pounds.
What? How much?
1.12 pounds?
Oh yeah, the weight. I thought you were talking about price for a second there. I'm like,
No. By the way, the HoloLens developers kit you can pre-order right now for $3,000, and you get a copy of Conquer with it.
Now, two things we have to point out very quickly. This is a dev kit. This is not meant for an end user, such as, like, say, me. I'm not a programmer. I don't need to buy a dev kit. Why? Because the dev kit comes with all the paperwork and everything I need to, like, program my own game if I so or simulation if I so chose. But this is the first we've gotten from it, and honestly, it's a facepalm for me.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I don't know, we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, the Conquer thing is what's got me, though, because I was like, oh, they got Conquer? That's awesome! Then I heard that it was going to be on the HoloLens, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. I'm not going to be pessimistic. This is Conquer. I haven't heard of anything from him since Live and Reloaded. Then I saw it.
Right. Well,
And God, is it ugly.
I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to end up being a very gaming related device. I think it's going to be more of an instrument for teaching or sales, or it's basically going to probably come and go the way of the PDA. Remember when they were the rage back in the early 90s?
PBA.
The PDA?
Oh, yeah, the PDA.
Yeah, and now everybody owns one in the form of a smartphone. But yeah, that's what I see it going.
Yeah, honestly, my main complaint is I
Price.
love Conquer, and they destroyed him. Rare, You made great games back on the N64. Don't make any more sequels. Don't do anything with those characters anymore. I know you own the rights, just don't. Please. Because between this and Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts,
Right.
no. But on to happier times. There is a new judge ruling involving Apple and a drug case. No, not every Apple CEO wasn't found getting coked up or anything like that. I don't know. But one of their products was being used by a drug dealer. Back in 2014, a New York man named Jung Feng. Why do I keep on getting stories to where I can't pronounce the names? The government spent more than a year not doing anything to pursue evidence that was on his iPhone until they finally got a warrant in July the following year. So June 2014, July 2015, that's 13 months if my math's correct. So, in all that time, they didn't do anything, and the DEA was not able to get information from the phone because it was locked. So they went to the FBI, who again was unable to get evidence off a password protected device because they couldn't break Apple's security. So they sought Apple's help 2 weeks after the expiration of the device warrant. So not only did they kind of forget to get the warrant, once they finally got the warrant, they didn't go to Apple immediately. So Apple was like, well, if you can get another government obtained court order, it will do the same thing like it has 70 other times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since the guy pled guilty and the government continued to request while it was pursuing additional evidence prior to sentencing and to potentially uncover evidence, as far as like finding out who he was working with, because he wasn't like giving up all the information. Apple finally just said just listen, you're not getting this from us because you're not going through anything that the All Writs Act follows. The All Writs Act, more jargon, is basically saying if you design something and to the point to where the government can't break into it, we will ask you to do that for us if it's out of our power to do it as far as intellectually. But yeah, they just totally said no after dealing with incompetence across the board with this particular case. And organizations like the EFF, which is Electronic Frontier Foundation, wow, we've been talking about them a lot here lately, said that this is a victory for privacy, security, and common sense. The government should not be able to run to court to get surveillance power that Congress has deliberately kept from it. So, any comments, questions, and queries?
I think that you covered it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Indeed. I mean, I think the thing to take away from that is if you're going to be a drug dealer and you want to protect your contacts, buy an iPhone.
Well, even if you're like, hey, say if I'm running a business and I want to put my business information on my phone, make sure it's an Apple, because apparently even the federal government can't even break into that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to keep your stuff encrypted, get an Apple.
Oh, this one I'm so psyched for.
What? I think
Just
we
go
should cut
on.
this next story.
Nope.
Fine. The U.S. Army has set a deadline of 2023. 2023. That is the year that they want laser weaponry. Now, not laser rifles. Well, maybe laser rifles, but you can't use that against people. That's a violation of the Geneva Convention. That's an unconventional weapon. But you could, shoot down mortars, missiles, drones, things like that with them.
Disable a truck.
Yeah, disable
bomb.
a truck, blow up an IED. When asked how close we are to having laser weaponry, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army for Research and Technology, that is one mouthful of a title, by the way. Mary Miller.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's an acronym for it somewhere.
Dasart, DASART. Mary Miller, that's her name, cited that they are very close. How far are you from laser weapons? Very close. Yes.
I want to re-enlist now.
The Air Force has already begun trials with its own laser devices. There's currently Air Force equipment flying daily with lasers strapped to them somewhere, somehow. And even though the devices are meant for countermeasures, not to be used for attack, they're working on fitting up the AC-130 with lasers as well, and going to be arming fighter jets with them by 2020, most likely.
I can just imagine all these full-grown men just like when I was in the military. If we didn't have the blank adapter to where we could use blank rounds in a safe manner, we'd go bang bang or pow pow, or if we wanted 3-round bursts, budget cuts. So I picture the same situation, but with like a blank laser rifle, to where you have full-grown men going pew 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 pew, and that is awesome.
Pew, pew, pew.
Like some big burly SF guy. Pew 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 pew.
By all rights, I don't think that a laser rifle is actually going to make any sound other than possibly a click from the trigger pull.
Well,
No. It has
probably
to make a pew pew sound.
no. I'm sorry. It will make the pew pew sound, and it'll make a whirring sound when it's gearing up to shoot a laser. I will patch that stuff in somehow.
Pew pew pew. You need to somebody redub Star Wars with the laser rifles that the stormtroopers are firing. Pew 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 pew.
They don't hit anything anyway, so it wouldn't be that hard to dub.
Right.
Highly trained man cannot hit the broadside of a barn.
They all got drunk the night before.
All right, guys, on to entertainment. Let's get on to entertainment, shall we?
What are you talking about? This is entertainment.
I know it's entertaining, but it. So remember how we covered Suicide Squad, the new superhero movie that I was like, this needs to be R-rated, but it's not going to be R-rated. It's got Will Smith in it. That's why it's not going to be R-rated.
Yeah, he has a rule about not doing R-rated anything because he has a son.
Warner Brothers is already planning the sequel.
Awesome.
Now, mind you, Suicide Squad is not going to be in theaters until March. Or, I'm sorry, until August. Jeez, oh Pete's. And it is only March. So it's, 5 months away. I'm terrible at math right now. But yeah, it's going to be in theaters in August. Suicide Squad 2 is already being contemplated. And they don't even know if this movie's going to do well. But I think it's definitely going to do well. I mean, we all know it's going to do
better than Batman v Superman, probably.
But, and they're already thinking that it's going to be directed by David Ayer. Most likely, he's going to be the one that directs Suicide Squad 2. So hopefully we see, once again, Jared Leto, Will Smith, Margot Robbie. Oh, God, she's gorgeous. As Harley Quinn. And Joel Kinnaman. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. Unless we got something to discuss on it.
I'm just excited for the first one to come out because I know it's going to be fantastic.
I
It
like-
probably will be better than Batman versus Superman. So
yeah, they're
I like the entire idea of Suicide Squad. Actually, a girlfriend has bought 2 graphic novels of their stuff because she's fallen in love with them. And I just got her into comics, and that was the first thing she gravitated towards.
they're considering starting filming because everything's filmed and the movie's still filmed. They're considering filming in 2017 for Suicide Squad 2, so it'd probably be 2018, 2019 before it releases.
Yeah. And it's not entirely unusual for studios if they have planned sequels, like a planned trilogy. It just might be, depending on how well the first and second one goes.
Right, just kind of film them right back to back to back.
Yeah, that way you don't have because here's the thing. Actors grow old, actors die, actors might be in an accident and lose a limb.
People
So
don't
you
want to
have
wait 2 years for a sequel.
That too. You have to strike while the iron's hot, and while the actor's still in the body condition to do whatever stunts they may have to do.
and still looks the same.
Right, that's why Sean Connery was a great James Bond. And so was Roger
Yeah, he
Moore.
quit aging at 50.
Basically,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Speaking of movies, today we are in mourning. We have experienced the death of a great meme. Leo DiCaprio might still won an Oscar, but he has finally got one. In this last Oscar ceremony, Leo DiCaprio got an Oscar for the movie The Revenant. It's a movie to where it's sought in nature, and he was a frontiersman seeking revenge, blah blah blah, and he finally got it. So, go Leo. But
It's about time.
Yeah, he got his best actor. But more importantly, is not what happened that he won it, is that what he said afterwards. He didn't have a big speech of thank you for, like, he did the typical I'd like to thank the Academy, I'd like to thank the cast, my fellow crew, yada yada yada. But he told the audience, climate change is real. It's happening now. He implored viewers to band together and stop procrastinating for our children and for our children's children, and for those people who are out there whose voices have been drowned out by the politics of greed. We shot at high altitudes in Calgary, and the weather conditions were unprecedented. Locals told us that we've never had weather extremes like this since they've lived there. And you realize that 2015 was the hottest year in recorded history. December was the hottest December in recorded history. Last month, DiCaprio actually even went off to meet with Pope Francis, other than, I'm guessing, to pray to get, reaching back to God to get an Oscar, because if I was him, I would have. But also to discuss climate change, and his foundationally reportedly wrote a check to the Pope for charities close to his heart. He's been writing quite a few checks recently, after pledging to donate $15 million to 30 organizations focused on global conservation projects.
Well,
Any comments?
For me, I'm happy that he won an Oscar, but it's the death of one of the greatest long-running memes, which is Leo not having an Oscar. Though I will say the Leo bear memes have been beautiful, especially the one where he's like walking up to the stage and you can see the Oscar in his eyes and he's about to grab it and the bear jumps out and mauls him. Gold. But
Yeah, quick fun fact, there's a website called HasLeoWonAnOscar.com. It updated almost immediately. And right now, I'm watching a scene to where he's like popping and locking because he won an Oscar. I'm guessing. So yeah, it's the death of a meme and a huge one, and just all these jokes. But memes do evolve. That's how they work. They don't just die; they just evolve. So even though we're celebrating the death, the passing of a great meme, it's going to transform into like Will Smith wants an Oscar or someone else. And honestly, I think Will Smith should have should get an Oscar with his movie Concussion because that one was amazing.
Right.
But he didn't. So,
On to other entertainment news. Zack Snyder, director of Batman v Superman, that we were just kind of, saying, it's probably not. It's not going to be bad direction that does the movie, and I think it's going to be poor planning in the trailer department. He has a big idea for American history, and I like it. We all seem to like it in our pre-plan. What do you think of when you think of George Washington? I think of, old guy, powdered wig, wooden teeth. But the truth...
Old guy, did a lot of cocaine and like wear today's standard women clothing.
I as someone like personally, like I love history to an extreme. Like I love it. So for me, I think of him as one of the biggest like just
He's
badasses
like Rambo.
of freaking of the old America. I mean, the stories that he's done and went through. My word, he is the man.
Right. Well, Zack Snyder wants to do a film on George Washington during the Revolutionary times in the style of Frank Miller's 300. The 300.
I'm waiting for This Is America.
This is America.
America.
I want to see him ride in on a bald eagle and gouge somebody's eyes out.
I want to see George Washington. I want to see George Washington as like... Who would play George Washington? Because what was he? See,
hey, Leo, want to win another Oscar?
yes, with your I see him. I see airbrushed abs, exposed, chest hair, crossing the Delaware. The famous painting. I see shirtless George Washington, like standing on somebody.
Is Gerard Butler doing anything right now?
That would be amazing. There's no actual movie in the works just yet, but now that Zack Snyder has pitched that he wants to do this, I'm going to assume that Frank Miller has heard it, and who knows, maybe somebody's just crazy enough to do it. Robert Rodriguez would be amazing if him and Snyder got together. But yeah.
Here's my theory. A film theory, even. No, seriously though. If this was to happen, as far as like, you make George Washington, blah 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 blah, and it's all crazy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would want like somebody. I would want Quentin Tarantino to have a hand in this.
I still have to see Hateful Eight.
Yeah, it's all right. But just that entire idea of, all right, can we please please, please have like this completely ostentatious representation towards like this is the type of a-hole that used to run this country and kind of makes us go, wow, we complain about a lot of stupid stuff now, don't we?
Right.
You know, something that makes you like that hits the testosterone button that's in every human being, men and women included. Because fun fact, women make testosterone too. To where it's just like, yeah.
But yeah, Hippie, what about you? What do you think on this?
I'm excited, but not as excited as you guys are.
Fine.
Yeah, you don't really dig the mindless violence that much.
I mean, I enjoyed 300, which, since it's in the style of, but I didn't enjoy it so much that I would be willing to watch something that was similar, even if it was American history. I don't know. It might be better than I think it's going to be. I'm a pessimistic person sometimes, and this is one of those moments.
All blind optimism aside, like, anybody here watched the second 300 movie?
It was. I hated it.
Okay, there we go.
I didn't. Well, there was that one scene.
So, how long was the scene?
Crimson knows
And
what
how long was the movie?
Crimson knows what scene I'm talking about.
I do know what scene.
There was that one
Were there
scene.
TNA flying around the place?
Maybe.
Okay. So,
Of
you have
course.
that one scene, and how long in the movie?
The movie was
It
only
was
like an hour.
such-
And
Movie was
it was
terrible.
it was
the
so
movie was bad in
slow.
general, but it was so bad compared to the original 300. Like it was
Yeah.
completely. It was a lot different too. It was just like why
It was so
It looked
slow.
cheap.
It did. It looked cheap. It was poorly directed. Not directed. Poorly. It was almost like it was poorly pieced together. Just shot wrong from the beginning.
Right.
Mm.
It was doomed to fail.
Yeah, right from the get go. But there was that one scene that I was so thankful I bought my $10.50 ticket and my $7 soda and my $9 hot dog. God, I miss that hot dog.
So does that wrap us up for the night?
I believe it does.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a very, very long but interesting night. Talked about a lot of things. Special thanks for Sirius for dropping by, and again for Baby, Pika, and Scion for being in chat. Anyways, guys, we will see you Monday at 8 for the gaming stream. You'll have Bob and Zero with you, and we'll see you next week on Thursday at 9 here for another newscast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Be sure to follow us on the YouTubes, the Twitches, and as well as Votable. Check it out. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye.